Sure.
Can you hear me okay?
I hear you perfectly.
Alright, the stream's got a little crappy. I really gotta restart my router next time, but anywho, let's give this a
All
shot.
right.
So,
Yeah, dude.
we're back. We're gonna do
Yeah.
a
What's up?
not much, man. It's good to have you back to the chat.
Mm. It's good to be back. It is very, very good to be back. I love talking Star Wars. I love it. I know it sounds like I hate it sometimes, but I do. I really do love it.
Yeah, no, it's just in a weird place, so it's a sour topic, I think, for most of us.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I feel you, dude. I feel you. But the future is bright. We have now that the sequel trilogy is done, there's all sorts of stuff they can explore. That I'm hopeful. I really am. I think hopefully can learn from their mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
From here on out.
yeah. I'm.
Like now that it's all over with, you know what I mean?
I think. I think. Yeah. Now that they're done with the Skywalker saga, they can start doing their own stuff, and we could judge it a little less.
Yeah.
um,
People will
early.
be less up in arms about it. Maybe there'll be world peace finally.
We'll just be judging it more fairly. There's less expected storylines, I think, and I think that's kind of what JJ was trying to say with making nine. But oh, sorry, I didn't mean to punch the mic. But I just
I'm so mad.
I really am. No, I've gone past that
Yeah.
stage. I'm past that now.
Same.
I'm in a different stage. It's somewhere between uh, grief and disappointment.
Yeah, dude. I feel you. I really do.
But no,
But well, I mean, we did a whole 3-hour talk on what we got for the Rise of Skywalker, but what could arguably be strued as the more interesting tale is this myth now, this urban legend that has since been confirmed to be reality of Colin Trevorrow's Duel of the Fates script, right?
yes, yes,
Now, I have not read the script myself. Obviously, it's not out there. I don't think to the public. It hasn't been like totally leaked. It's just a few, bigwig people have gotten their hands on it, I guess, and kind of gone over all of the base plot points.
right, right. Yeah, this Reddit post from Lolly Frawl seems to be the most consistent and straightforward. Like,
Yeah, the most comprehensive kind of
yeah,
like gathering of all the plot points that we need to check out. Because, well, right off the bat, I mean, like I said, I know this isn't a full script or anything, but after listening to a lot of podcasts and videos and going over a lot of outlines myself, this is really awesome.
yeah,
The plot. I mean, I don't agree with everything they kind of go with,
yeah,
but overall, this is absolutely something that I would have wanted to see, and mainly because it doesn't do what Rise of Skywalker did, and that basically glues together stuff from both 7 and 8, for better or for worse, right? And it makes a through line, which is what we've talked about how sorely missing it was once 9 came out, once the actual 9 came out, right?
right.
So I mean, like they follow through with character beats from Force Awakens and Last Jedi, and they really kind of acknowledge everything that came before in a really meaningful way that I think was definitely better planned out than Rise of Skywalker ever was.
Yes,
Because this feels like something that was being basically written alongside Last Jedi's production,
yeah,
right? If
yeah,
does that kind of make sense? Because
yeah. Absolutely, it's more
like
consistent with that already told story.
yeah, because totally was there. I feel with Ryan and kind of knew, at least at the very least, he knew where Ryan's story was going and knew where he thought it should go after that, as opposed to JJ, who I think kind of came on really late in the game after all of the backlash and all the pieces fell, and was just thrust into picking it all up in a really and quick manner by Disney, right? Whereas
Yeah.
this was like carefully kind of construed to carry on everything that was laid out, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. And it sticks with the subversion that Johnson did. So it it's just more consistent with the story that seemed to be what was trying to be told. Like this seems like a story. It feels
oh,
like this would make it feel like a trilogy. It doesn't feel like a trilogy right now.
oh, you're back.
Oh, could you not hear me?
Hmm. Yeah, you totally cut out for a second. I'm sorry, but
Oh,
I
damn! I should have restarted this damn router.
no, it's good. If this persists, we'll see what we can do. But you're back, and I can hear.
All right, all right.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I missed the first part of your initial reaction to the script when it first came out.
Oh, just that it's more consistent with a full story being told. It's like it makes it feel like it's actually a trilogy,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
you know. But
The opening crawl is way better, that's for sure.
yeah, it's really cool. Actually, I like it.
Yeah,
It's still
there's
short.
no. It is. It does feel kind of short. Maybe that's just because we're not reading it in like the classic scrolling up into space, right? But
Yeah, yeah,
because that part is laid out for everyone to see, and I'll read it real quick if you'd like.
yeah, yeah.
The iron grip of the First Order has spread to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Only a few scattered planets remain unoccupied. Traitorous acts are punishable by death. Determined to suffocate a growing unrest, Supreme Leaders Kylo Ren, I almost said Snoke, just by like muscle memory.
I know, I know.
Supreme Leader Kylo Ren has silenced all communication between neighboring systems. Led by General Leia Organa, the Resistance has planned a secret mission to prevent their annihilation and forge a path to freedom. Now it's cool, like it sets it up. I will say this: it's like, if I remember correctly, it's almost the same kind of crawl as the Last Jedi was. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
Short.
replace Snoke with Kylo Ren, because
Yeah.
I feel if I remember correctly, it kind of read the same opening crawl. I'm seeing. Let's see. I'm seeing if I can easily access the opening crawl of The Last Jedi, just to like compare. Which I know y'all can't see my screen or anything, but
It's okay.
so that is one quick. Yeah, here I got it. That is one kind of quick initial critique is how similar it is. Because yeah, the Last Jedi one is, I won't read the whole thing, but it's First Order reigns, having decimated a republic. Snoke deploys his legions to the galaxy. Blah blah blah. So it reads as the same.
Right.
So it basically, that part is it. It is neat and it's better than the Rise of Skywalker, but it is a little derivative. Then again, I mean that's kind of not really the movie's fault in that
Yeah.
The Last Jedi basically ended where it began anyway. So you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
I mean,
But
that's why it just feels like this is a good example though of how there is still a story that can be told from where Johnson left off. And and I'm not trying to
yes,
say I thought of this idea, but I did think. Can you hear me? Okay.
yeah, you're good.
I did think of something similar to his general, like, concept of where the characters would be. Not necessarily what would happen at all,
Yeah,
but like just what they would be up to. And like this makes sense for all of their characters to be doing. Like and
yeah, for sure.
I don't feel like it's not as disjointed between arcs of the films that we have already. You know what I mean? It feels a little more, or like, I don't want to say organic, but it feels just a little more like a natural way for these characters to be doing what they're doing. And
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really cool with it.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
remember you beforehand that one of your ideas was basically straight from this, and that Kylo Ren was out wrecking the galaxy looking for power and
Yeah.
secrets
Yeah.
and dark
Yeah.
side secrets, right?
Yeah.
And that's absolutely, yeah, that's one thing that I picked up on right away is like, oh, Colin, we're on the same page, bro. Y'all
Exactly.
knew what y'all wanted to do with Kylo. And honestly, there is a little bit of that in Rise of Skywalker that's
Yes.
still there,
Yeah.
but first 5 minutes, like Kylo abandons that plot thread immediately after he meet. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
cool that at the beginning when he's wrecking dudes and looking for. Well, no, I take that back because it kind of presents it that he's only looking for the broadcast, which is not as cool. So never mind. I take that back. You guys had it better. You
I
know what I
don't.
mean?
Apparently, the beginning of Rise of Skywalker was the most changed.
Really
Yeah, yeah. They said recently that I forget who it was,
interesting.
like one of the editors or someone that said how the beginning was actually the last thing to be shot. I think that might have been
Really
most of the reshoots. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Was it?
very interesting. I didn't know that.
I guess that explains why it's so rushed.
Yeah, dude. What the hell? Very interesting. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's
any anywho, sorry to talk about that movie. On to another movie that could have happened.
I know,
um,
right? It's all good.
but
If you
yeah,
want to hear our thoughts on that, there's a 3-hour video on it for you.
exactly. Um, yeah, no, this is. I don't know how if you wanted to. Oops, sorry. I don't know if you wanted to keep going through it, but
Yeah, we can kind of pick out. We have this Reddit thread pulled up, but we don't have to go through every single bullet point. I think.
yeah,
I mean, I will say this: the opening scene is killer. I love the idea that the crew is basically performing a kind of heist, and they're stealing a star
yeah,
destroyer,
yeah,
which is badass. It's really cool because it kind of shows at least how I'm reading it, and and again, I kind of want to kind of lay out the fact that this was just one elite script from 2016. There's no telling whether the movie would be the same
right,
if things had panned out for Colin. And there might be a few things lost in translation since we don't have the script in right in front of us. These are just bullet points taken other people, right?
yeah,
So there's really no real telling. That being said, I do really like what they've laid out here, because what I was going to say was all the main core, the core like 4 or 5 characters they each have tasks that they're doing, and are basically contributing and all working together as a unit, right? As
yeah,
opposed to Rise of Skywalker, where it's Rey doing all the shit, and everyone else is just an accessory to her, right?
yeah,
Which which is it's neat sometimes, but I like seeing people work as a unit. Like I love Return of the Jedi is tight because the crew goes down to Endor and get shit done,
yeah, yeah.
Um, but anyway, I'm digressing. But
You're right though.
yeah, and the fact that Rey rolls in disguised as a Tusken Raider and has built her very own lightsaber,
Yeah,
double bladed that is not just Luke's old saber taped back together.
yeah,
That's badass. Like I'm really into that, and it really, I don't know why they didn't just have her build her own from the beginning of Rise of Skywalker, to be honest. But
it would have made the most sense.
it would have. I gotta stop talking about the movie. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
But yeah, dude. So they go over. So a lot of stuff happens in the opening scene. Like I said, everyone's role is established. They all have a job they're doing.
Yeah,
Seems like it's very tightly written, as they. And it also seems to introduce the Knights of Ren as an actual formidable force
yeah, yeah,
at the beginning, kind of like fucking with their operation, right?
yeah,
Or at least after them, and they're established early on as like their own unit, right? Instead of just really cheap lackeys to Kylo Ren. Like they're actually operating, right?
Yeah, yeah.
As their own unit. So that I really dig. I'm into that.
The next thing that
Um,
happens though is I think one of the most important things that should have happened in the sequel trilogy that didn't,
what's that?
when it cuts to Coruscant and shows
Mm,
all of what it's become. This
yes.
occupied uh, war zone.
Yes, I agree.
It's pretty incredible. That
That's right. Yeah. So it shows Coruscant as being this war-ridden wasteland, basically, that where the First Order has just rolled in and they've built on top of old structures, and the seedy underground that we kind of saw in the prequels is taken over completely, and it's worse. And it's yeah, that's what you would want to see. You want to see repercussions in your world, right? If there's this war going on,
yeah.
and that's a really good representation of it. The way they describe it, I think that's dope for sure.
Alright, here's a shot of the concept art I'm trying to pull up on the
Word.
stream. Let me see if I can
Oh
pull it.
snap! Yeah, I gotta get on your stream, bro.
Oh yeah, here's a whole bunch of the concept art I found. Oh, here's one. Yeah, look at that. That's crazy. They
Oh snap!
they have like a star destroyer upside down, like, or not upside down, but like upside down of it is a city. It's
Yeah, yeah,
crazy shit.
yeah. And that's one thing I can touch on too is so this script has all but been Colin Trevorrow basically confirmed in himself that it's 100% real.
Right.
Because he talked about his what's it called? Oh crap, I messed up. Sorry, I like clicked something weird. Yeah, and the fact that this concept art is leaked along with the script is very telling, and it's just so badass to look at. I love this concept. I love how Rey looks, very Return of the Jedi. And yeah, like you said, the look of Coruscant is super badass. It's super tight.
Yeah.
The laser guillotine. Are
That's
you kidding me? So sick.
that's my
So
favorite part.
yeah, man.
I really.
And it's very scary too, because that's one thing is the First Order basically has always been a joke because everyone is just yelling all the time. All the generals are bumbling idiots. They're made to be jokes. They're made fun of all the time. It's like you need to have a really you want to have a formidable, scary force as the what's it called as the antagonist of your movie, right?
Yeah.
Of your trilogy, and
Oh, hold on, I lost you.
the speech that Hux gives is actually kind of intense, I think.
In the first
And
movie?
yeah, and a decent setup. But then Last Jedi, they're just bumbling fools the whole time. It's like, come on, and we're supposed to be afraid of these guys? I don't know.
I'm there with
So, so that's one thing that I was super into about this idea was that they're actually kind of fucking, and they're not fucking around. They're cutting dudes' heads off with their laser guillotine
you.
and shit. That's dope.
Yeah. I just pray that Disney would have allowed that kind of scene.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I mean, dude, come on.
You got a good point.
They had
I mean,
decapitation.
they've shown decapitations. Yeah, yeah. A dude gets decapitated at the beginning of Doctor. You remember that?
Oh.
Remember that shit? Yeah. People are like, oh, they never allow shit like that. But yeah, they like string a dude up at the beginning of that movie. And what's his name? Mads Mikkelsen just slices his head off into that bowl. And it's like, damn, dude, that's metal.
That's
So
awesome.
I think they would have let it happen. I filmed and edited, right? So it's showing the whole thing. Like they cut away right before the thing goes down, right?
Right, yeah, it could have been.
And I imagine.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know.
Lucas
Maybe that was one
it.
of the things. Yeah, he would have exactly. He showed Dooku getting decapitated
Yeah,
back in
yeah.
Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah, it
and
was fucking beautiful.
I know, oh, so good,
I just watched that the other day. It's such a good movie.
dude. Revenge of the Sith, is legit. I mean, I still have my problems with it, to be
Yeah,
honest,
same, of
but
course.
like, I think it's probably it's probably my fourth or fifth favorite Star Wars, to be honest.
Y-
Um,
yeah,
like
it's up there for me.
it's basically right under the original. Um,
Yeah, same.
it's really I've grown to like it a lot more, probably because of these sequel movies. Who knows?
But back to the script. Back to the script.
Mhm.
The next part though.
Sorry, my
No, you're
bad.
good. You're good. The next part where is kind of interesting because I feel like we did get a little bit of what became of this scene in Rise of Skywalker with like the Imperial-esque meeting and Kylo like force chokes and slams a guy into the ceiling, which is very Vader-esque. I love that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
totally.
but it's a similar thing but without Kylo there. You know, it's like Hux and this new guy who I just can't not picture Tom Selleck, Commander Selleck.
I didn't even think about that. That's great.
Yeah, so this guy's
Oh
chilling here with
man.
his stash, and the alien
Oh,
warlords or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
bro, can I just say there's a pretty serious lack of mustache representation in the Star Wars. Like you got Lando, I guess, but that's it, isn't it? You don't have any other stashes.
No, but
Where's the stash representation, dude?
Kylo was gonna have stubble.
That's right. He was gonna have stubble.
It's here somewhere.
Um, which I like. I dig that. It's like, yeah, let him grow. Let someone grow facial hair in these godforsaken films.
Yeah. He has stubble, indicating the search has been for a long time. but, but, but,
Yeah.
yeah, no. The whole meeting. I'm sorry, I jumped a little bit, but
No, you're
yeah,
fine.
the whole meeting was like they're trying to find where Kylo's up to. Um, he's basically saying like, don't worry about these fucking other people. You guys deal with them. I'll deal with the girl. I think he says that later, but
Uh-huh.
that's basically his mentality, and he's out doing something that I was actually kind of hoping that we saw. I actually think that this is gonna sound funny as hell, but
Yeah.
you know that guy Mike Zero.
Ye- yes. Yes. God,
Well,
many different thoughts on that guy.
I know, but the funny thing is, he was
He puts like 80 videos out a day. Sorry.
no, I know, and there are things to be said, but one thing I do know is he actually was leaking stuff like a long time ago that was mentioning like Kylo exploring Mustafar. So it's very well possible
Really?
he was being it was very well possible he was being leaked like original
What?
concept stuff, but
Huh.
I think he sprinkled it in with a lot of bullshit. But
Yeah.
so
God, yeah.
I don't know, but like some of the stuff I read in the script, I'm like, you know what, dude? Where did I hear that? And then I thought back to it, I'm like, holy
You're
shit,
like, oh, Mike Zero.
yeah. So I'm
That's
like,
funny, dude.
I know. So like, I'm not trying to validate Mike Zero here, but I am saying like, I I think he
Yeah.
mentioned Kylo being at Mustafar, but
Yeah. I could see that. I think because I remember hearing some nuggets of things that turned out to be true, but
right.
I don't know. I won't get into a big gulp critique of that guy.
Yeah, no.
I'm sure he's just doing him. He's
He's
just
doing
doing
it.
his thing.
He's doing him. That's all we can ask.
Exactly. But let's see. What's the next kind of thing? I know eventually we're gonna have to talk about Kylo Ren in this movie because, um, God, basically, I've kind of decided. I mean, I don't know. As much as I do love Ben Solo and Rise of Skywalker and that redemption, and I love seeing kind of Ben Solo work, and
Yeah.
um, I think I prefer his arc as it is in this movie, man. I really do. Especially trying to go off of the overarching trilogy, going from Last Jedi on, or the end of Last Jedi. Because, dude, in this movie, he is straight up the main villain.
Yeah.
He's it. He has become the main evil of the galaxy. He's become, the emperor. He still is having his struggles, but overall, he's it, dude. He's the end all be all. He has basically become Vader at this point.
But here's the thing that's interesting.
Although not entirely, as we'll
Yeah.
see later in the script, but for
Yeah.
all intents and purposes, to the rest of the characters, right, he is Vader. I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
in the script, uh, because he's evil, man. And one thing, I don't think I've really heard it. I don't remember where I heard it, but people have been saying who have read this script talk about the dark side corrupt being a thing that's been fucking up his face, right?
Yeah.
Which I love. I was like, man, after all these movies, why is it that like those, you know, two or three shots of Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, the only time we get it, like dark option, as a massive fan of Knights of the Old Republic, and how when you took the dark side path in that game, it really fucked your face up beyond belief. Um, I I was waiting to see something like that in the movies, and
Yeah.
if Kylo had gone on this path in this original Trevorrow script, I think I remember it may be in this Reddit thread. I don't know, but someone somewhere talked the script involving some or including something similar to dark side corruption in his face, which I know it gets fucked up later by the holocron, but even before, so I think they talked about the yellow eyes and the scruffy beard and like the graying skin and that sort of shit, right? Like
Yeah.
that's evil. Like that's evil. That's sick. That's metal.
Yeah. Yeah. I
and
mean,
and I love that. I really do. And to kind of, sorry I keep talking
no,
about
no, no.
kind
You
of
keep going.
this stuff, um but going back to what we got in Last Jedi, um Luke saw Ben's future and presented it as being unavoidable, which is why he popped his lightsaber. Right? So if they go off of that notion, Kylo is basically unredeemable because, if he is eventually redeemed, it just makes Luke look way fucking worse than he already did. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um,
Well, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that action in Last Jedi, as much as I didn't like it, had to have been justified by Kylo being irredeemable, basically, right? Because he saw it. He saw it. Leia saw it. You know, um, everyone kind of saw it, and Rey's naivety on the matter could have explored more, which I think it kind of is a little bit in this script, um, but basically it's yeah, as it's laid out in Last Jedi, I think it basically makes Kylo Ren irredeemable. He gets the chance to join Rey, and he turns his back on her. He tries to fuck everything, and at the end they have that last look to each other right before Rey gets on the Falcon, and she just looks away, and the door closes, which to
Yeah.
me was symbolic of that door closing basically forever, right?
Yeah.
That there was nothing else that could be done after that. Like he had his chance and that was it, right?
Yeah.
Um, so going off of that, I really think that this was the better way to go if you were going to make this one cohesive trilogy.
Yeah.
Now I know there's a little nugget at the end that I'll come back to when we get there, because I know the redemption stuff isn't quite done yet, but we'll kind of get that. I don't want to jump ahead of myself. As we are in the movie right now, or in the script rather, this is what I dig. I really dig Kylo being the supreme leader,
Yeah.
emperor that Last Jedi kind of set him up to be.
Yeah, and that's something I just want to touch on real fast that we didn't really get to mention from the last video, but it is an
Yes.
important thing that from like, all right, the biggest issue is the villain issue with, I forget what the term is, but um basically,
Antagonist or
yeah, but there's something else that I forget, but no, but yeah, in Star Wars it's always been the traditional, main antagonist, and then they have like some like secret antagonist who's pulling the strings the whole time, who's like
I believe the
the
word you're looking for is phantom.
yeah, exactly. There you go,
Yes.
right? The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
No, but
No, I feel you. Yeah. Yeah.
the ultimate evil, and then the apprentice or underling character who's kind of wishy washy or can be, you know, a little more redeemable or whatever quality you want to say than being pure
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah.
But they, I guess they JJ felt like they needed to do that classic structure, and they wanted to keep Kylo the underling, but I don't think it made
Man.
sense.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
I think what should have happened is like, well, alright, here's my original thing that I thought just would have been fine and would have pleased everybody, and I think would have
Yeah,
made
dude.
sense and would have been cool. And it's pretty quick, and I can just summarize it right now as one
Yeah,
of the
dude.
things I would have done is pretty much exactly like what's going on, and then Kylo's on Mustafar, he's going to all these planets, and he's just discovering shit. And I wasn't really thinking about anything exploding in his face. That's really cool. But I was
Yeah.
thinking that he found something that was like from Palpatine that was a holocron that like led him to some kind of research facility or something where he found out like something else about the Force, or found out that Snoke was actually Plagueis, and then bada bing, bada boom, he's back, you know. And then it's like
Yeah, yeah.
Rey and Kylo have to put away their bullshit differences because they kind of also understand each other the most. And then maybe it's like
Yeah.
they're all like going to this pointless war, and then it's like, yo, we got this guy to kill. He's been pulling the strings all along, and then like they have like that balance, because like that's the thing that I don't know if I really fully understand anymore is like what what balance is in Star Wars anymore. So
Yeah, I know we touched on that a bit.
so I think that would have been something interesting if they did really have that yin yang relationship where they needed to be together to have that balance. And then when they took care of Snoke by doing something like maybe like Rey was finding out that Luke had these secrets of studying Plagueis's like notes or something, and then like Luke had some answers to try to stop him. Maybe he was like on to Snoke being Plagueis all along. Like cool shit like that could have happened, you know? And
Yeah, word.
I think like Jude Collin does sort of pull from that, but he does pull it into a territory that's more cohesive to a story that would make a movie, and for that I'm like, yeah, that's cool. That's why I don't write screenplays, but you know, my ideas basically follow the same thing, and um, I was thinking that at first I was thinking he doesn't live, but and like how cool it would be if he was just like the only guy left. But then I was like, but then I need an answer for Snoke, and I felt like it was like we were kind of let down with the answer. So I thought
Yeah.
having him come back as Plagueis would have just tied everything up. It would have made so much sense, and it would have justified the existence of this trilogy. Because it's like, oh yeah, remember that one guy that we were told can't die? Yeah, he's still around.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we could have had something similar, like okay, it didn't have to be Palpatine, but we could have had like a similar theory with the transfer essence or essence transfer, um, with the Sith being able to live on and on and on in different hosts. And I thought that would have been interesting. Like maybe that's what Snoke was. It was just like a vessel, but JJ took that idea and like made it into like a gimmick that I just didn't like.
Hmm.
You know,
Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean.
like what? Don't make it like a creation of Palpatine. The whole bringing Palpatine back was the biggest mistake they made. But we'll leave that alone for now. But
Yeah, I feel you, buddy. You're fine. You're
but
fine.
I'm sorry. I'll try to bring it back here. But like
No, you're
it
good.
does cut into some stuff that's really cool. Like Ren is being haunted by Luke's Force Ghost. That's fucking awesome.
Oh man, yeah, I would love to touch on that for a minute
Yeah, go.
because man, what a great idea! And that is another thing that's followed through straight from The Last Jedi, right? If you
Yeah.
strike me down in anger, I'll always be with you. And then the see you around kid, right? Like
Yeah.
I love that. And that's oh, it's such a genius idea. Um of Luke Skywalker's ghost haunt Ren the more evil he is, right? I love that.
Yeah.
And there's a huge payoff for it at the end that is basically the coolest thing to ever happen in all of Star Wars, and I'll get to it when we get there. But yeah, I mean, what a great idea. It brings Mark Hamill back in a meaningful way and lets him interact more um, with Kylo, which was seriously lacking last Jedi. Because we talked about it when we did that video, how one of the big reasons I personally couldn't get behind the decision he made was that we didn't see any of Ben's training or any of Luke's interactions with Ben, right?
Yeah.
Nothing. We got nothing. We got no real sense of their relationship or how he was trained or why he resented him, any of that. So that was that was a huge missed opportunity to leave this idea on the table when making the movie, because that interaction is, I mean, it's gold. I mean, some of these points, it's like, let me see if I can find one that I really liked real quick. Force Ghost appears to train Ray. Um, um, I will say this. I like one thing that maybe would have been a little better in this script is if they melded Rise of Skywalker and Duel of the Fates in this regard, in that have Luke's ghost haunt Kylo Ren, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, but keep Leia as Rey's train, right? Because that about the whole idea about a Force ghost training you through and through, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Obi-Wan offered guidance to Luke back in Return of the Jedi, but he never trained him in the Force. I think
Right.
I do really like Leia picking up where everyone else left off and kind of helped complete race training. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
and so keep that. And I know this. So I this out of the way real quick too. Um, in this universe, Carrie Fisher did not pass away, right?
Right.
This script was dated to, I think, a week or two before she passed away. So
Right.
in
Yeah.
this kind of reality, she was alive and well to complete this trilogy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm for now at least I'm going to kind of go off that,
Yeah.
and when we get into the next point of discussion, we can kind of talk about uh, more seriously, if you'd like to, about what we could have done
Yeah. Yeah.
after she tragically left us, kind of thing. But as of now, as this script is in a window into 2016, um, I kind of like the idea of Leia staying in the realm of the living to train Rey, and Luke still being a Force ghost, but haunting Kylo Ren the whole way. The more evil he gets, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just my thought. What do you think?
No, I think that makes sense. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I wasn't really sure. Honestly, I was thinking Ray just being as strong as she is. It's like they might as well just ride that shit out, and why even have a trainer? just read the fucking text she was given, and then like go with it.
Yeah, that's true. You got a point there.
But I what I would have done honestly
Uh-oh.
is I wouldn't. It's hard to undo it, but like they could have kept the whole ideas of all of these movies if they had just done minor tweaking, and one of the biggest ones is just they should have let Carrie Fisher's leg just pass in 8, and
Yes.
then we would have had no issues. I would have been pissed, but I would have been like, all right, that makes sense. And then Because
Right.
I was just like confused. I was like, oh my god, what are they gonna do with her now? And I was thinking,
Yeah.
okay, off-screen death. But then I was like, would that be a disrespect to the character? So I think JJ
Right.
did the best thing you could have done, but
I don't entirely agree.
for her
Um,
character. But
yeah, I hate to say because we this was something we kind of touched on in our Rise of Skywalker review.
yeah,
Um, Tastefully done in my opinion, but overall, I overall I wasn't into it. I gotta be honest.
yeah,
I
no, I
really
understand.
wasn't. I think I think they it almost they were trying to make it a selling point of the movie that Carrie Fisher was still in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that they worked so hard to make the footage work and write around it to force it into this movie, only to have her die anyway, right?
it's true.
In a really kind of awkward way. I know I talked about like um, how she kind of passed, not sitting super great with me. And another reason I thought of kind of after the fact, I don't think I got to talk about this when we did our last stream,
Yeah.
was that she dies and her corpse lays there on the table for like days
I
before
know.
it disappears, right? And it's like, what the hell? Why are you gonna do all this work to make this footage of Carrie fit into the film if you're A, gonna kill her, and B, have her corpse just be under a blanket for part of the movie and vanish at the very end when like Ben dies? Like, what the hell? I don't think that's respectful. I'm sorry. I would have much rather of them said Carrie passed, she had her time in the movie, and did in the movie, and like
Well,
really, you know,
I
yeah,
oh, you're breaking up a little bit. Are you there? Wait.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, no, you're good. No, I don't disagree with the ending part. I meant just that I agree with like him having her in the movie to be like train with Ray and like the way he blended the interactions with like existing script. Like I would have done something with that, like use the existing material, but I, I don't know if I don't know what I would have done. I wouldn't have had her. I don't know, dude.
Yeah,
If maybe if there was
it's
a way
tough.
to
I know.
maybe you
I
can Rose
know.
Tico her, like Rose Tico her,
Rose Tico her. Yeah,
but
yeah,
then just be like she has to stay behind to do some stuff, and then if you want to have her die, you can have her just like I don't know. Maybe they have shots of her, of a silhouette of her, and then they have shots of her of someone under a blanket. So like they could just do something like that, but don't drag it out. Like have her be there and then pass or something. But
yeah,
like they could have done something to make it work with killing her off in this movie. Like they could have still kept this script. They could have still had it play out the way it does in this movie, but just had her pass at some point. Like,
yeah,
cause she's not
yeah.
in this movie that much.
In Duel of the
In Duel of the Fates, I
Fates or
mean,
Rise of...
yeah, Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It kind of... I mean, it's weird without having read the script ourselves, right?
Well, that's true.
But yeah, I mean,
But even says
you're
here,
right, because in this script, she lives too. That's another thing I want to point out. She does not die in Duel of the Fates,
I
which is
want
very interesting.
I wanted to point that out. That's actually funny too because even in this script it says right here Leia stays at the base overseeing the resistance. So she's
Yeah,
just chilling. They could have just reused scenes. They probably had plenty of scenes extra left over from The Last Jedi too of her just overseeing stuff in the spaceship. Like just
yeah,
cut stuff around stuff. They already did that.
yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more. And I do think, I mean, using the footage is neat to an extent. I do agree with you there, but there were some I don't know. I'm kind of torn. Like I said earlier, sometimes they felt
Oh, hold on, it's breaking up.
gimmick Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, keep going. Say it again. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Um, I don't want to say gimmicky because that's not really the right word, but it really did feel like they needed another selling point to be, so that was kind of the driving force over their decision to keep her in. Do you know what I mean? Is that just my perspective, or do you, I don't know.
With
Maybe
bringing Palpatine back, you mean?
maybe no, Leia.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're
Um,
fine. You know what I mean? Because that was
yeah,
something they announced pretty early on, and they said Leia's gonna be in this movie. Don't worry. And it's like, wait, what? You know,
I
it's just that it's weird because I really am kind of torn. I do see the merit of using um footage to recreate a role for the final film. Like I really do. I really get it. Uh, but the other part of me is like I don't think that was the right thing to do, man. Like it's really tough. It's really tough for me.
well, what would you have done since if we're leaving off from the Last Jedi? So you can't change the Last Jedi, and now you're forced to deal with the fact that she's still alive. Have her die
If
off.
I was in charge of it, I mean I'd have to think about it, but my initial thought is to not not have her in the movie, dude. Like I mean, I'm not it's weird cuz I also don't know what kind of footage exists too.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like I don't know. Like I probably would have taken a look at it, right? And see, okay, what's going on here. Is there a way to make this work? I feel like um I mean I've referenced this before on the third rebooted Star Trek film. It has Spock Prime pass away at the beginning of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole like the rest, most of the of Zachary Quinto Spock's plight in that movie is dealing with Spock Prime's, and
Yeah.
I thought that was really tasteful and meaningful. And I think initial thought, if I was in charge of the episode 9 after Carrie passed, I may have tried to do something similar where the opening crawl is something like a light in the universe has gone out, like General Leia or has passed away, and that's kind
Yeah.
of one of the driving forces, and like use that in the story in like a meaningful way, right? And
Yeah.
make it drive so or Kylo Ren and Rey back for conflict or resolution somehow, and like and make it make them honor her, make it for something, right? And make it part of the legacy of the whole, not only this trilogy but the saga as a whole, right?
Yeah.
um you know and I mean and I wouldn't go forward with anything without talking to their family too, which I know if I'm using the footage and everything, but I don't know, something like I really don't know if I would have done this, what they did and what we got in Rise of Skywalker. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
At least not having her there just to kill her and leave her corpse on the resistance base for a few days.
Yeah. I
You
think.
know,
I think.
that
Yeah.
part I may have felt better if they didn't do that about reusing the footage. Like if they kept her alive in the movie, and didn't do that. But the fact that,
Yes. That's what. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I
Yeah.
guess that's kind of my whole spiel, right?
Yeah. No, I got you though. Yeah. It's. It's just that movie does a lot of weird stuff. It does everything that I didn't think it should have done, like with character deaths and fake outs. Like they should have had Chewie should have like I didn't want it to happen, but like Chewie should have died. Ray should have killed him in episode 9, and then
Yeah,
and then C-3PO should have had his memory wiped. Why is it that he's so easily booted back up? Or if
yeah,
that wasn't a thing, like I don't know, the whole thing was just goofy. And then
I feel you.
you have Kylo get yeeted, and then he's not dead. and it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
Palpatine wasn't dead, and then it's like maybe he was. Oh, who knows anymore? And then
Yeah.
the
And
only
then Ray
person,
dies, and it's like, nope,
yeah,
just kidding.
and
He's
then
alive.
the only person who shouldn't have died is fucking Leia.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
At this point,
Yeah.
it's like they totally boned us with like killing off all these other characters and then faking us out the first time. Here's what I have to say though. Like, yeah, like Ryan Johnson faked us out a lot, but at least he did it in a way that I felt like, I don't want to say, I don't know what the word is. I don't know if it was more tastefully done, but it like was done in a way that I was just at least like, all right,
I
but
guess I would say purposeful.
yeah, 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 yeah. This
I
is
would
like,
I would go with you there for the most
yeah,
part.
yeah.
Sometimes it was still bullshit. Like I still think Finn's well, I still think Finn's fake out death is bullshit, right?
I agree with that.
Um,
Yeah, that would have been really
I'm not
ballsy.
into that. I'm not into that. I'm not into Finn's bullshit death. But I will go with you there. I will say that some of his fake out purposeful. Like as much as I don't like it, Leia's fake out death, um, it did have a to it, right? Like it did have the payoff. For better or for worse, personally didn't like that part that much. At least the purpose behind it. And
Yeah.
same with Luke's fake out on crate. Like, yeah, he had for doing. Um,
Hold on, you cut out a little bit. What happened with Luke's fake out on crate?
oh, sorry, I just said that uh, Luke's fake out deaths even had a little bit of purpose there. Um, you know what I mean? So, like I said, still don't like it, but I can acknowledge that there was a reasoning behind writing it that way,
Right,
like you said.
right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
for
yeah. No,
sure.
that's all. It's just
And
like,
as opposed to Chewie apparently dying, but then us, the audience, seeing that he's actually okay, like 10 seconds later.
but none of it makes sense. Like I couldn't even suspend disbelief to like believe it. That's the problem. Like at least I could like in eight things made sense. It's like, oh, that happened. Oh, at least it makes sense for it happening. And this, it's like, wait a second. How did they not still sense Chewie was alive? How did she not? And how
Yeah,
did
yeah,
anyone not notice a second transport?
yeah. I know that's stupid.
I give up.
I'm sorry, buddy. No, it's
I,
okay.
but
Here, bringing it back,
we'll keep
bringing it
going.
back,
We'll keep going.
because we're gonna go on a Rise of Skywalker tangent
I
very
know.
easily.
I
Because I know
know.
I'm gonna start fucking yelling at them. No, I'm just kidding.
Where are we? Where are we? I guess. Oh,
I had fun with it. It's fine.
yeah. You're
Um,
good.
but no, so bringing it a little bit back to Duel of the Fates. I think so. We went over Leia stuff. We went over Carrie Fisher and everything, and I guess after I mean, you're right. She's kind of just overseeing stuff in this movie. So if they just keep her alive, then yes, reusing the footage makes sense in that aspect for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I so if this script had stayed more or less the same, um, sorry, okay, and this script stayed the same, and you use the Carrie Fisher footage script where she lives, that I can get behind, right? I really can. So I feel you, dude. I really do. I think that would have been a little bit better.
You know what, too, dude? You know what would have been interesting? Like
So do you,
if they had killed off, um, Leia, and off screen or in the beginning or whatever. I was just skipping
Mhm.
ahead and looking at some stuff. There's a part in here towards the end that says like Leia asks Lando if he will organize the smugglers and fight the First Order. That's something that they kind of pulled for Rise of Skywalker. That's fine. But and then it says like Leia brings her forces to Coruscant. Blah 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 blah. All right, that's cool. That's justified. Because I was about to say, you know, what would have been cooler, but that part makes it work. Ah, fuck. They would have had to have someone that was cool then. But I think what I was getting at is, I think it would have been even cooler if like Poe was the leader, like he was kind of set up to be, and then
yeah,
he was on the front lines like he is in the story, and like the story's just that. So there wouldn't really be, I guess, the space battle, since like unless we would have a space battle, it just would have to be like who else would be leader or general of sorts to care about, to order around like finding Lando and having him rally up troops. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I guess it would have to be like Carrie Fisher's daughter or something. That would make sense, and I think by the fans it would be justified. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
you know what I mean? Like her character in the story, or like that other lady. I don't even know any of their names, but um,
Holdo or
no, no, the lesbian lady that kissed at the end.
oh, word. Yeah, with the yes, I know who you're talking about. I don't know her
Yeah,
name
I don't know her name, but
either.
but because like that's a cool plot point. Like again, we need to have a giant space battle, so um, I couldn't figure out how to rope that in unless you, because I like that they have all the main characters together in this movie. Like that's what these movies needed all along, and Trevorrow does that. You know, JJ did it too, but it would have been cool if there was just like one focused group, and then there wasn't really any important leader left behind. It just was like all a personal story
Yeah,
in a
for
way.
sure.
But it's a problem too. Is the fact that we even have to have that as a sentence is because the second arc didn't really have a huge challenge to overcome for the characters. It was like an emotional one for Ray, finding out her parents are nobody and blah 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 whatever. Her leader, her hero is not the hero she thought he was, and yada yada yada, so on and so forth. But um, what was I getting at? But I think, oh okay, but no, it just would have been cool if it was just a little more focused, I guess, in this movie. I don't know, but
Word.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I got
I don't know.
you.
I still like it. I still like what they did here, but I still think there would have been a way to have Leia's character, to the side. It just would have been hard to have her rally up troops. But I think what I'm getting at is I just don't, reading the script, I don't understand what the creative difference was, because both parties could have found a way to have her character written out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's one that pulls me too, is exactly what you said. I don't know. Reading this, I don't like it, why they didn't want to go forward with it. And it's hard to believe that it literally just caressing that drove them apart. Because, like you said, there is that one scene at the end when um, Leia talks to Lando directly about doing that, but that can easily be someone else, kind of thing. But
Yeah,
so yeah, I don't know. It's very strange situation. Uh,
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's not an easy thing. And honestly, I do think I don't. I will say this. So Carrie passed right when Last Jedi was still in production.
yeah.
It had finished. Hey, can you hear me?
Um, yeah, kinda.
Here I am. Am I good?
Yeah, I still think it's like connection thing and not your actual like hardware.
Okay. Gotcha.
But
Yeah. Well, keep letting me know if I need to repeat. I don't mind.
um, just repeat what you were saying about the production.
Yes. Yeah. Of course. So Carrie died when Last Jedi was still in production,
Right,
right?
right.
And I will say this. I thought about it, and it's like I I understand why they kept her alive in the movie, because it may have been a little too soon to see her, see her die in real life, and then see her die in the movie again, kind of like a year later. Um, I mean, there's ways to do it, and I think they might could have done it, but initial reaction is I kind of get it, right? Um, that being said, I do still think that they could have come up with the idea to use Leia foot in episode 9, re-edited episode 8, and took some of those Leia scenes out to save them for episode 9, right? You see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And not necessarily have the death for one, but also, I don't know, like leave some of her dialogue with Poe intact and save it for because, like you said, Poe kind of does step up to be the leader at the end of that movie, where and Leia has that line where she's like, "What are you looking at me for?" kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so, so that I think if they just had been on the same page and had more of a clear plan, then maybe there could have been a way to re-edit Last Jedi a little bit, take some Leia stuff out, rework it, and save some of that for the story of Episode 9. Because they had this script in the middle of production for Last Jedi. They were very clearly working on this parallel to Last Jedi being completed.
Yeah.
So it's kind of at this point, you're making the last two movies of a trilogy. You have to make them together, right? Like you have to write them together. You have to, and that's why I like the script so much, because it's really clear to me that they were writing this stuff together along with Last Jedi's ideas and plot points, right?
Yes, yes.
And I think that if they had just worked together a little bit, and like you said before, if Ryan, excuse me, if they had been allowed to work with Ryan on re-editing the picture and changing the ending, changing the scenes like JJ had to do for Ryan, um, then these movies would have been all the better for it, I think, and that would have made the Carrie situation easier, and it would have brought the trilogy to a close in a satisfactory way. That's what I think.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, dog. Because yeah, it just blows my mind. I really have no idea what the hell has been going on over there.
That's another
You know,
topic, but it's
yeah,
it's it's weird. I yeah. I don't know. I just will
uh,
hope that the future of it all is okay. But they
yeah.
I think they've learned from their mistakes that they need to plan things with a little bit more thought, for lack of a better
That's why
term.
I'm kind of hopeful. Because I know Kathleen. I think Kathleen's contract is up next year for
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
and for two, I do think I am thinking. Hopefully, I'm praying that they're learning from their mistakes. Because even though Rise of Skywalker did go on to make $1 billion, the movie, the trilogy box office returns have declined steeply with each installment, and that
mm,
can't be ignored, right?
no,
Force Awakens did incredibly well, had the biggest opening of all time. Last Jedi opened really well, but tapered off after the poor word of mouth,
yeah,
and then this movie basically. I don't know if it did Rogue One numbers. I think it did better than Rogue One, but my point is that it definitely declined, right? And I think
yeah,
that can't be ignored by the higher ups at Disney there, because it's very clear that we as the audience understand the mismanagement going on, and have slowly taken notice that this just isn't going to work, dude. It's not.
no,
You're not doing it for us.
no. I and I,
But yeah, go on. Sorry.
no, no, you're good. I was just gonna say, it's a shame that I just do think that the best option would have been to just finish the damn story that they had set up instead of just trying to retcon the whole thing. I'm not saying that The Rise of Skywalker retconned everything, but
Yeah.
it 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 feels disjointed enough to me where I'm like, I'm missing a movie. Like there's a setup here that's missing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I do feel like it retconned it, and I still don't understand. Like the more I thought about it, like I kind of like the idea of their connection in nine. I like that the force skyping is like gone to like the physical realm and stuff. That's cool. But
Yeah, I
when
like that too.
when you really think about it, it doesn't make any sense because Kylo even says you're not making this connection. The effort would kill you. in Last Jedi. So I'm like, how are they still doing this? And
Oh shit, you're right.
I guess the justification is Palpatine. I don't know. I don't know, dude. Or no. It's because they're a
No, but
dyad.
remember, he didn't know until the end.
Right.
Remember?
That's right. So, oh god damn it, this
Damn,
makes no
you're
sense.
right. You're right. I kind of forgot about that. You're not doing this. The effort would kill you.
Yeah, so it makes no sense.
Interesting.
I guess it's because
Well,
they're a
see,
dyad.
that's what I'm talking about. About if they had if they had worked through both movies together, simultaneously, they could have just easily cut that line out if they didn't want that to a what's the word, a contradiction. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, just make a through line. You're making, like, God, it just
It hurts.
anyway.
It hurts. I know. But that's why when I look at this script, I'm
Whew.
like, this. They should have just done this. Like, if it,
Yeah, bro, we've gone far away from this script. You want to bring it back?
yeah.
Bring it back
Let's
to
try to get through it because there's not much left, but well, there is actually.
yeah.
But
Uh, let's see. Shit, I need to find Lolly's comment again.
oh,
I think I clicked something by accident and got off of the. Let me click your link again.
all right. Well, yeah,
Yet again.
I'll kind of pick up where we were at. Let me see. So like,
Yeah. So I guess we can kind of go into the. Yeah, here we go. I got it up. There's one thing. I mean, there's a lot we haven't talked about yet. Still, to be honest, there's the
uh,
Knights of Ren. There's the one of them has the fucking dark saber, which is sick.
yeah, that's
Um,
crazy.
there's a they not Kylo fight, what's it called, Tor Valorum or something like that.
Yeah,
Which
Torvalum.
that
Yeah.
Tor Valum, which is kind of an interesting idea, to be honest. Which I feel like that could have very easily been Plagueis. Speaking of, like you were talking about bringing the
Yeah.
Plagueis stuff in.
Yeah.
Um, and then fuck this isn't what I mentioned earlier about being the coolest thing to happen in Star Wars, but what's it called? Freaking Vader versus Kylo Ren
Mm.
as a force image, force vision battle.
Right.
That's sick. That's badass stuff right there, my dude.
Does that happen right here? Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, say again?
Wait, I'm trying. Does that happen in this part? It does, right?
Let's see. It happens in the script. I don't know which part we left,
No, you're
but
good.
it's when he goes to seek Tor Valum, and I think that he goes into a cave next to Tor Valum or something. I need to find it.
Oh yeah, no,
Uh,
you're right. It's probably later down in the script because this is just talking about like him finding the holocron with the Tor Valum location.
yeah, so I may be jumping ahead a bit. That's
No, you're okay. We don't have to go point by point if you don't want to. I mean, it's just cool. Like the holocron is where he finds out information that where Tor Valum is in the Remnant Core system or whatever. But
right. Yeah.
so
I
that's
got
cool,
you.
and like that I think I did say before, like I would have had something similar where he's like looking for like different artifacts from Palpatine and yada yada yada. So
Mhm.
that's cool, and then like it explodes in his face, which is cool.
Yeah.
Um, I guess we kind of talked about that in the beginning, but or I'm sorry when we were talking about Kylo Ren's character, but um, yeah, Tor Valum or however you say his name could have been. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm like, all right, but then it just opens up another can of worms for me where I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
so who's Plagueis? Is he Plagueis? Because he kind of said something apparently. I don't know where it is in here, but it said something like, "Are you Plagueis?" And then I think Kylo asks him, "Are you Plagueis?" And then he says literally like, "That name means nothing to me."
Oh, that's right. That is in the script. I
Yeah,
remember one of that Rule of Two podcast
yeah,
zeroes in on that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's fucking
I,
cool.
I think that's cool, man. Yeah, like why not? Like have Plagueis be around and have him be this cool freaking like Lovecraftian creature.
But then they just have. We're skipping ahead, but
That's all right.
they waste his character too. Like Kylo just kills him. I'm like, all right,
That's
So
true. Yeah, I mean, you're right. That you got a point there. It is a little bit derivative of Last Jedi too, in that Kylo just killed Snoke, and now he just killed,
which is
you know.
cool. It makes sense. He's just killing everybody. But then it's like, okay, so hold on. You killed this guy who we don't know who the hell he is, and now you're gonna not give us answers on him, and now you're gonna introduce this other guy who's also claiming to be Plagueis, and then just fucking dies by this guy again. So, like, what are we doing? Are we just saying Plagueis was not
Yeah.
some guy who knew how to cheat death? Are we just like are we ignoring the fact that Palpatine said that he'd learned everything from his uh, his master, or are we just saying that Palpatine is not um, Plagueis' student anymore? Because then it does also say that Tor Valem's the master of Palpatine. So
Right.
I'm just like, I guess it was Plagueis, but then I don't know. It
Yeah.
just opens up another can of worms because now you're killing off one character with no backstory that I thought was Plagueis, and now you're telling me another Plagueis actually exists who actually is Plagueis, possibly, and then he dies easily too. Like, no,
Yeah, you do have a point there.
I
I'm starting to see what you're saying.
I don't like that, but I do like. I kind of like finding something like that, but I still think I just wouldn't have had something like that happen. I would have said, nah,
Yeah.
have
It
him.
could have just easily not been him, right?
It
I
could
don't know.
he could have just gone there looking for some answers to something and found some secrets, and maybe it was just like some like, yeah, exactly. It could have just not been Palpatine's teacher.
Yeah.
It could have just been
Yeah, you're right.
like some creature who's strong on the dark side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like come on, like are you familiar? This is kind of getting off subject, but like in the Clone Wars, I haven't seen all of it, but I know there are parts where like certain forms of the dark side exist in things that are beyond that
Oh yeah.
scope. So our traditional rule of two scopes. So like, come on, they could have gone
Yeah.
a little more edgy, a little less
Yeah. Well, I
typical.
mean, maybe they could have, doctored that up a bit and have this, like you said, this creature just be a creature of the dark side, not tied to the Sith or Plagueis or Palpatine or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, I see that working because the way the script is laid out, they did go to the Force drain ability from somewhere, right? And
oh, true, true,
that's what Tor Valem's there for, right?
true.
Um, right. I'm kind of with you there. I think just I mean you already severed the Snoke tie to being or theory to being like Plagueis and ancient and that shit. So just yeah, like you said, just make the Tor Valem guy just be like I said, a creature of the dark side that he just has to learn this skill from. That's not tied to Sith at all.
Yeah,
That probably would have played a little bit better, and they just have him delete the line that says Plagueis mean there that name doesn't mean anything or to me anymore or whatever, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it
Um,
still doesn't. It could still be said, and like, it could literally just be like, yeah, I'm just playing that name off. Like, I don't know who that is, or like, you know what I mean. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, the artist formerly known as Prince type shit here, but
yeah,
but
yeah, you're right, you're right. Because I guess they could acknowledge that because we as the audience would be asking, "Oh shit, is that Plagueis?" And then the movie can answer, "I'm not fucking Plagueis."
right, right. But I still think it does. I still think there's a way to avoid introducing any more dark side people. I think he could have learned his powers from holocrons or from something else or you know anything else. It could have been avoiding bringing a big baddie back, but
Yeah,
um, everything else kind of is so far I'm okay with. I know we're kind of getting through stuff. And I know you said you had some gripes with certain things, so that's my one part. But um, everything else
yeah,
I do enjoy a lot. Like the next part is they go to this resistance base on some planet Koroloff, which sounds awesome. Um, and I guess it's like kind of cool because it shows that Leia's force sensitive to what's going on with Ben and whatnot. But
yeah,
and then it has some classic like Star Wars banter and comedy, I guess,
Yeah.
with stuff I'm cool with. But
So I guess so one gripe that I had, talking about gripes real quick,
yeah,
one thing I also didn't like about this script was Ray and Poe having a relationship.
yeah. No, not a
That
fan.
kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's like, I don't know, he's kind of like old, isn't he? Um, I mean, not that that's necessarily a bad thing. It just seems like it really comes out of left field, um,
Oh,
coming
yeah.
off of what you know, Force Awakens and Last Jedi presented.
Oh, I
Um,
agree.
and
I hate it.
I also, it kind of goes also to a scene where she straight up uses a Jedi mind trick on him, which
Yeah.
I don't like at all. I know it's like she's trying to save him, I think, in the context of the script, um, but come on, it's only supposed to work on the weak-minded. You're
Yes.
trying to tell me Poe is a weak-minded fool?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I
Um,
hate that.
yeah, I didn't like that at all. So that I'm not into. I think that's a weak part of the script, to be honest.
Yeah. I think
Well, I say that without having read the script, but you know what I mean. That's a weak plot point,
I
I
think
guess.
it could have just been tweaked. Like, you know, like they could have kept this stupid idea of a romance between these two characters who just met apparently in the last movie, but I digress. And they could have just
Right.
had some conversations with, I don't know, like, I don't know, dude. She could have done anything. She could have just force pushed him back into a hallway and ran away.
Yeah. She did the same thing to Finn in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, dude.
She force pushed him across a freaking Death Star wreck.
Right, and I feel like that was kind of like JJ being like, "Yo, I'll take this similar idea of like him not wanting having a character that's been not wanting her to like do anything that risks her life, aka Finn, and
Yep.
do what makes more sense." And I think that's what I have to say about it. But yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. And another thing that I kind of wanted to say is like huge missed opportunities in both scripts is with Finn. I think that at least Poe does kind of well not necessarily. I'm sorry. Finn does have a really cool arc in this. I forgot he does like help lead
Yeah.
the underground people living under Coruscant make an uprising and doesn't he also like lead a band of deserting stormtroopers in this?
Yes.
That's fucking cool. Imagine if
Which
he did that with a lightsaber though.
Oh God, I know. Jumping way ahead here. I told you this. I want. I would have loved to have seen Finn be force sensitive from
Yes.
Last Jedi on. I think they basically threw his character in the trash immediately after Force Awakens,
Yeah.
and he had next to nothing to do. And they either should have made him be the rallying force of the stormtroopers. Like, God, how much potential is there, dude? He had, defied the First Order and left and joined the Resistance, right? And had his whole arc of actually wanting to be in the fight instead of just be a deserter. Um, go continuing that, make him be like this legend and symbol of resistance within the First Order, and have him make his own rebellion within the First Order, right? Like have
Yeah.
like you said, like have the stormtroopers rise up under his command and his leadership, because they could have planted those seeds, way early on of say stormtroopers are like, they like the ones that want to leave and defy the First Order. They idolize him. They're like, oh my God, he did it. He left the First Order. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, God, like how much wasted potential is that? And that's not even talking about if he was force sensitive. If he was force sensitive, that would have given him. He could have been way more involved with Rey and Kylo's conflict, and have him be Rey's anchor to the light, and Kylo be her anchor to the dark, and have it be. There's so much potential for, three-way conflict and resolve.
Yeah.
There's just there was so much they could have done with Finn, and it breaks my little heart that he was tossed around as much as he was in these last two movies, because I really like the setup in Force Awakens. Really good chemistry with Rey, and I'm just talking on-screen chemistry, not necessarily romantic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Like he played really well off of Rey, played really well off of Poe, and John Boyega is a great actor, very charming in the role, very believable, really likable. Um, but God, dude, yeah, I mean that's. Uh, Sorry, I'm getting really upset because I hate what they did with Finn.
No,
But
it's
bringing it back to what you said, um, yes, it does seem like he had a little bit more in this script, and that kind of is going off of what I was saying, or what you were saying about helping lead the stormtrooper deserters into battle, which, to be honest, is kind of there in Rise of Skywalker, but it's also kind of not, because it's mostly Janna that does all that, you know?
yeah, and
Um, which
yeah,
is fine, but then it's also like, this is a character that we don't know that you're introducing in the very last movie
yeah,
to do something that Finn could have easily have done and it been more meaningful to us. Ugh.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so, uh, sorry, I have a lot of thoughts about Finn.
No, yeah, that's another thing for. We'd have to make a whole other video on that because I feel like that's a huge
Uh,
one that bothers me because there's so many things that we could have done with Finn, and
mm-hmm.
but at least in this version, it 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 works for me, and I like what Finn's role is in this movie. I think everybody's role, like everybody's arc in Duel of the Fates, is just believable and makes sense to me, and it works for the characters.
Yes, I agree with you. I think that's one thing that's very evident about this script is that, like you said, everyone has a role, everyone has a part to play, and everyone's arc is kind of completed too,
Yeah, yeah.
um, which is really important, I think. So, um,
You want to? We could, if you want to, kind of summarize the rest of it, because I feel like we want to get to what we would done, because like the rest of it's kind of just. Is there anything else in it that you don't like, or anything that you really like?
well, so okay, we can talk about kind of the final battle, and we can end there, right, on the Duel of the Fate stuff, because
Well, because we
I
had
do I do really dig what they do with the final battle here.
I
So
do like what they do with I just want to add before we go to the final battle, which is like
yeah, go for it.
it looks like Rey is researching Jedi texts, and that's how she finds about like the beacon under Coruscant again. I love what they're doing with Coruscant. It just feels right, and it's been a while since we've seen it. And then like dude,
Yeah,
everything so far is just great. Like it just flows really good, and then Kylo and Hux are still at each other's throats with shit. And then
yeah,
yeah, right there. Find the resistance, wipe them out, leave the girl to me. I love that.
yeah.
And
I
again, their Hux's character is great in this movie.
Yes, much better than you know either of the other movies.
Yeah, but
God.
he had it the worst in Rise of Skywalker, in my opinion.
Yeah, he really did. You're right. I'm the spy.
Oh
I
god,
just want Kylo to lose. God.
dude.
Uh, that's so bad. Oh, yeah. So the one of the big praises I can say about this, I guess, script over the Rise of Skywalker is that this does not read like a fan, whereas Rise of Skywalker plays out very much like a rinky-dink little fan fiction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, so that's one thing. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, so I just want to get that out of the way
No, you're
and just
good.
say this is legit. This is a writer working on shit.
Right, right.
This isn't a freaking, you know, high schooler writing his little fan fiction.
No, I mean, That's the thing, and like I know I'm suggesting skipping through it only because one, I feel like we've kind of touched on a lot of it, and two, I think there's already so many videos about this and people can read it, but like three, it's like the ending's something I think it ties into a lot of stuff to talk about. The rest of it's kind of just really cool shit that happens, like really cool set pieces, really cool character development. Um, again, Knights of Ren show up, and just more fucking planets and getting beacons out to get help. That's cool, I'm cool with that. But yeah, was there anything else in between you wanted to talk about? Or you want to try to get to the ending? Where you want to go? Where you want to
go? No, yeah. Let me see real quick. I guess the main thing I wanted to get to, at least for the end. Oh, what's that?
I got one.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, I like that Rey is like, hope is all we have left. I like that Leia says how she's new and her story's not written, yada yada yada. And then it's like Rey and Luke training, which is kind of silly to me, but whatever. We talked about that. And then but here's a cool part I liked, but it also is kind of interesting. Kylo is going to the Sith planet / Remnant Core. Before he leaves Coruscant, he takes Vader's mask and says he understands Vader now. Kylo, you allowed love to cloud your judgment. And then he throws the mask off Vader off of his balcony and it shatters. That's cool.
That's right. I dig that too.
But
yeah, and that's what I was talking about earlier about him not surpassing Vader by any means, but overcoming him to the point of being irredeemable, right? Where there's nothing left, pretty much.
Yeah. And also
like that's real neat.
Just really being his own guy.
Yeah, 100%.
But
100%. I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't you. I started to say something and I was like, fuck, I don't have a way to finish that sentence. You ever do that? You ever all
the time.
Say, I have a thought, but I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah. All the time, unfortunately.
That's what I was gonna say. The hope shit. I mean that's kind of neat. That's pretty derivative of Rogue One.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Where you have another white brunette lady talking about hope for the 85th time in these movies. I mean. Can I just say something real quick? What is it with their thing? I mean, don't get me wrong. I like brunettes, very obviously. I'm a married, but isn't it saying that we've had Padme, we've had Jyn Erso, we've had Kira, and we've had Rey. Isn't there something similar about all these leading ladies?
Yes.
Is it just me? Is it bad? No. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's funny because my friend Paul was talking about these movies with me. Just real quick story with him and his dad, and this was when the only new Star Wars movies that were out were Force Awakens and Rogue One.
Okay.
And and I try to recount this properly. I know there's some getting about, but I'll just kind of summarize it. They were talking about the movies, and Paul was trying to figure out what movie his dad was talking about because his dad kept referencing things like the one with the sassy droid in it. Okay, no. The one with the white brunette lady in it. No. The one with the good-looking Latino guy in it. It's like, no, keep going. You know what I mean? Because both Rogue One and it was just a funny thing because both Rogue One and Rise of Skywalker had the droid, the brunette lady, and the Latino guy, and it took them 3 or 4 times to figure out what movie he was trying to talk about.
Wow, that's an interesting thing. You're right.
Yeah, it was just funny to me. I was like, dude, that's actually pretty hilarious.
They have a very specific representation in their movies.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Wow.
Anyway, no, yeah, it was a thing, um, but no, so yeah, back to the original point though. That hope stuff is pretty similar to that Jin
Yeah.
or so thing,
Yeah.
and but like it's fine.
Yeah.
It's whatever. Do whatever you want. It's fine. It's
Um.
whatever. But I mean, I guess moving off. Oh, excuse me.
Okay.
I do. I really like the the thing that they have to do. Right. The big thing that the resistance has to do to um the war kick started, which is this Jedi tech underneath the Jedi Temple of Coruscant. That's Kylo Ren is blocking the signal of. If they go in there and restart the signal, that is what would send the signal out to the the entire galaxy basically, and to be a rallying call. Like that's um, it's not another super weapon plot, but it's a very it's very dire and interesting kind of infiltration scenario that our heroes have to go through. I
Yeah. No, I agree.
so I dig that. Let's Rose Poe, Chewbacca, go to planet somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Help fight Ray. And this a lot of it's pretty
Yeah.
vague in this Reddit description. I'll be honest,
Yeah. So it gets a
because
little
it's
tricky.
yes, it's very vague, which is fine. I'm
But
filling in some of the blanks with what I remember from the Rule of Two video.
all I remember is at some point they find out that they both need to go to Mortis.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it.
Yes, exactly.
And
Which I guess we can jump there if you'd like, because that's the big
yeah.
final battle, right? That's the big finale.
And there's something in here that I very much so disagree with.
Mm-mm. Let's hear it. I want to hear it. Lay it on me.
It's that Ray that Ky- it somehow is revealed that Kylo killed Rey's parents at the behest of Snoke. It doesn't seem to make sense to me because
Oh yeah,
was
I
he a
agree.
child? I thought he was still timeline wise still being trained as a Jedi. So it's like no, I
I
don't.
agree. Yeah, that's stupid.
I don't like that. I think
Also, just unnecessary too. It's like that doesn't
unnecessary.
add anything.
No, exactly.
Um,
They could have
it felt
just
like it
cut
was
that.
just there to have like a Star Wars twist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
They could have
I
cut
agree
that.
with you. Yeah, because it amounts to nothing. It's like, what is it? Just add to raise anger to Kylo. Really cliche too, because you see all those movies like growing up where it's like the kid's an orphan or whatever, and then he meets like the bad guy or whatever, and he's like, I am the one who killed your parents. Like, come on, fuck off.
Yeah. There's something.
So I agree with you. I think that's lame.
There's something interesting I just noticed though in the ending of the script. I don't know where I've seen it now, but they mentioned there's somewhere where they mentioned that Ben is redeemed in this script, and they're battling and they hold each other's like hands and like they're like fighting or whatever, and they're transferring energy between each other or something.
Right. So that's what I was gonna get to earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Talking about no, you're fine, dude. We can get there. Because I do kind of like it the way this script presents it, in that he's not. It's hard to. Let me try to find my words here because it's kind of
Sure.
hard to describe, right? Because he's in my mind's eye. He's not. He's not necessarily redeemed. Like redeeming to me means that you're, performing an act that washes away or equals out your past like transgressions, I guess, right? And I mean, not wholly, but in the context of Star Wars, I guess that's what it kind of means to me, and that's what Vader throwing the Emperor down the shaft meant, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
the way I've understand it in this script, it's not so much that Ben is redeemed, it's that he comes back at the very end of his life, right, to just stop being Kylo Ren finally.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
I
he
yeah.
um,
But
because I mean this is pretty vague. Let's see if I can kind of figure out what they're trying to say.
it doesn't really say.
Um,
But I know somewhere. I think it might have been the Rule of Two video where they went into a little more detail with it.
yeah, because it says Luke, Obi-Wan, and Yoda appeared as Force ghosts but are unsuccessful, right?
Yeah.
Like it says that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I remember in the Rule of Two, they talk about there being just like a flash of Ben at the end, and then that's when he like dies, right? Which
Yeah.
that makes more sense to me. Like I like him passing on or passing away as Ben, but him being evil up until that very moment, makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah.
Is that kind of
No, no,
coming
no, no.
across?
No, that makes sense. But the way they do it is apparently the same way it's done in Rise of Skywalker with Leia.
They don't kiss though.
No, no, I'm sorry. I meant with like Leia reaching out to Ben, and that's really the reason he's like, oh yeah, he snaps out of it.
Right, I
And
got
that's
you.
another thing.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
That's where it was because because Fernandez had access to the script, so he read it, and apparently also it doesn't say it in the summary, but somewhere it's mentioned that they did a whole like Matrix Revolutions thing with Rey getting blinded by Kylo's lightsaber. He like slices her eyes,
Oh, that's right.
and then
Which that's badass.
and
I'll be honest. I
yeah,
like that.
yeah, and she cuts off one of his hands.
Yeah, that's right, dude. I forgot about that too.
The fuck? What the fuck? That would have been so fucking crazy.
I know. Can you imagine? Like, God, like a knockout, drag out, brutal fucking fight between these two. Limbs are lost, eyes are lost. God, that would have been badass. Oh, and how about this? So this is what I was talking about earlier about this being the coolest thing to happen in all of Star Wars. Luke's ghost shows up. Basically, after Rey gets blinded by Kylo Ren, Luke's ghost shows up. Goes, "What's up, homie, dude? You gonna fight? You want to fight? Why don't you like try swiping at me?" And Kylo does out of anger, and Luke's ghost fucking catches the lightsaber blade in his
Yes.
hand. Like, have
Yes.
you seen the concept? Have you seen
Yeah.
that image?
Yeah.
Dude, it is the coolest fucking shit, dude. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me with that? Like, oh, I love that. I like when they talked about that in whatever video it was, or when I read it, I was like, holy shit. Like
Yeah.
I said out loud, God damn, that's the sickest thing. Um, and
Yeah.
then I peed myself when that concept art came out. Yeah, dude, look for it. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find it. Cause man, it's so dope. It's so dope. And what a great payoff to everything, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
right, that one right there. Oh God, it's so good. What a great payoff to right, when since from the very first movie when um Obi-Wan says he'll be more powerful than you can possibly imagine if you strike him down. It's like, dude, this is what we're talking about. This is Luke. This is the Grand Jedi Force Ghost Master Luke that we're talking about, man. Like that's so dope.
Yeah. You're right.
Um,
You're absolutely right.
God,
That's
what a great thing, man. I can't believe that got left behind. That bums me out more than almost anything.
and here's them fighting, but this looks like they still have limbs and shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've seen that top left one right there. Is what I've seen before. Um, the where Rey has her double blade and she's lashing out at him right there.
dude, it's just like,
Um,
come on, this would have been so fucking cool.
I know, dude. I know. And like the location where they're fighting is really dope too, because it's Mortis. It's like this ethereal,
Yeah.
like you know, um, astral kind of plane of existence, right? Where they're just having at it, dude. They're going at it. It's like, god damn.
I have an issue with
That's metal.
not that I have an issue with Mortis, but I was thinking about something that would have been kind of cool.
What's that?
like if they were bringing it to Mortis and not really like touching on, well, again, maybe they do in the script and I just haven't seen it, but like they're not really touching on anything with like Mortis and the father and the daughter and the son and all that. I thought it'd be
I'm
cool.
not familiar with that.
Well,
I'm gonna be honest.
there was this whole side story where Anakin goes to Mortis and in the Clone Wars, and basically like the father's the balance, and then the daughter's the pure light side, and the son's like kind of the pure dark side.
Huh.
And then he wants Anakin to be, since he's the chosen one, he wants him to be, I think he wants him to be the father, if I remember correctly. I didn't see it, but I've read up and learned. But basically,
Yeah, I haven't really seen the Clone Wars yet.
well, and then the son had the Sith dagger, so I kind of feel like that's where they sort of got the idea for using it in the Rise of Skywalker. But
that's interesting.
yeah, he has a Sith dagger and he stabs the father with it and kills the father, and then the daughter's like, I forget how it all goes down, but like I thought it would have been cool if they wanted Rey and Kylo to be the son and the daughter or something, and Anakin just appears as a Force ghost and is like, I've taken the mantle of... No, I don't know. But that's something...
Yeah.
That's something they also, I just wanted to kind of comment on. And I was looking through the Reddit comments, I saw people said something about it too, like Disney does have an issue with Anakin. Like, what the fuck? There's no Anakin in any of these movies.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, big part. And that's flat out said in, I guess not the original. No, it's in this comment. Lippledo. They're like,
Yeah.
LMAO. They really fucking hate Anakin, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
He's not even in this script.
Yeah.
Like, dang. Yeah, and that really is a big bummer. That's another critique that I can say about this script and just the sequel trilogy as a whole. You know, he was pretty rough in the prequels. Like, I get it, but his importance to the overall story can't be ignored if you're going to continue it like this, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
come on, bro. Like, yeah, like, show some respect. Come on. Should have had him there.
Yeah.
Should have been there.
Yeah.
Stupid piece of trash.
Well.
But, oh well. What are you gonna do? Anyway, let me think. What else is there to go over this? Because that it doesn't really say what happens here, but you're right. You're right. There is a moment where Leia reaches out to Ben while he's draining Rey's life, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when he's like, okay, never mind, I'm good. And it's like, and yeah, like I'm okay with that, because it's kind of the middle ground where it's like Leia was the only one who would have been able to redeem him anyway, and he's not entirely redeemed. Doesn't team up to help fight another big baddie. Like, he is the big baddie, but he just lets go in a way, right? Like, he just lets go of kind of everything and just becomes Ben again, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit more realistic and a little bit more, poignant too, right? So I mean, it's just a script. It's just a bullet point here, but depending on how they filmed that, how they would have gone on to film that scene, it could have been really something,
Yeah.
and it could have really been more impactful than anything we've seen yet, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I know.
So,
They could have, honestly, they could have had, like, the ending, if they wanted to do it with this whole Force Ghost appearing to Rey thing to try to save Ben, they could have just had it be Luke, Leia, and Anakin. Like, they should have his family. That would have made the most sense. Why would you have anyone that isn't his family? Like, okay, at least Luke and Anakin. Like, what the fuck?
yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Stupid idiots. I don't know. But anyhow, I digress. But
Oh, you're good, bro.
yeah, I like the idea of it being Mortis and stuff. I just don't, unless I saw the script, I just don't understand why it's the Mortis. But um,
I feel yeah, that's fair.
I
Because
think
yeah, unless they tried to just bring it all together with the prophecy kind of thing too, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's the thing. I don't. I,
because even back in Revenge of the Sith, Yoda's like maybe the prophecy was misread, and it's like, well, you bring up that idea, but you never follow up on it. So why not do it in this sequel trilogy and like, yeah, have them go to this, astral plane of existence of like the primordial soup of the forest, basically, is how it kind of was described to me, at least. And get to the bottom of this. What does a prophecy mean? Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Um, do something with that. Like that, I could see that working with Mortis, maybe.
I feel like there was something that they talked about in the Rule of Two podcast about it. Wasn't there like something that they were saying tied them together in another way? Or maybe I'm just totally making shit up right now. But
I don't
yeah, I
remember.
don't
I'd have
remember.
to listen to it again
Yeah,
because
no,
I just want the script, dude. I want to read it for myself. It's like, come on,
I
hurry up
know,
and just leak it to the public. It's
I
fine.
know.
We all know it's out there. We all know it's real. Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
Oh well, what are you gonna do?
I um. I like most of it, man. I do. I think like even it's
I do
funny.
too. I
It's
like Chewie flying an X-wing.
Chewie flies an X-wing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Resistance 1, First Order loses. This part's interesting too. One final detail, how Han Solo does appear in the script and confronts Kylo at some point. I wonder how that played out.
Yeah, I don't know. Um,
Because that was something that was kind of like, um, what's the word? It was kind of flimsy in the movie, in Rise of
yeah,
Skywalker anyway. It's like, I get it, but it was also kind of confusing. And I could see it being confusing to kind of general audiences too. Being like, well, wait, what just happened? Is he a Force Ghost? He's not a Force Ghost because he's not blue. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Um, so I wonder, as to how it played out.
yeah.
Maybe similarly, maybe it was a memory scene or a flashback.
Yeah, yeah. I think it would have had to have been
Mm-hmm.
probably a flashback or probably that idea right there. But I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably was haunted by
got it.
him. Just like oh, sorry, I mean, yawn. Probably was haunted by him, just like he was with Luke. Maybe like it was just like, but like literal like his memory and his conscious like haunting him. Like that was something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
there was something else in here. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on. Um, I think this is cool too because it um one thing that the Rise of Skywalker got right that this movie did too. It seems like is like showing Kylo really never could be as strong as Ben Solo could be. Like the dark side for him was always the weaker path for him as a character. Like when he became Ben Solo,
Yeah,
he was fucking doing shit, man. He literally brought someone back from death.
yeah, you're right, dude.
So he did some shit, but
Yeah, I'm with you there. I agree.
and they do something in the script with Kylo having like a Dagobah scene and getting his ass kicked by Vader. It's like, dude, he can't win against anyone,
Right, right.
and he,
God, I would have loved to have seen that play out.
I know, I know.
Ugh,
This is
damn.
this has got a lot of really really good ideas, and
Yeah, I think if this had gotten if they had just stuck with this and worked out some kinks, like have another few, several months to work out the minor details, right? Um, I think this could have really been something, man. I really do. I think the ideas are there. They really are. And with just, a couple more passes at the script, um, yeah, I don't think we would have had something near as divisive as Rise of Skywalker. That's for sure. I think this would have been more universally accepted and celebrated as well, in
yeah,
my opinion.
yeah.
Man, it's tricky. God, I want to talk to that guy. I really want to talk to Colin and be like, dude, like, tell me what happened, man. Like, I want to know what's up. What's
I,
the skinny?
I know, seriously.
Because this is a great script. Like, it's cool. There's some stuff, dude.
I know, I know. It's like I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff. I just I don't know what happened, but I think I don't know. I think it's a crazy thing that I'm trying not to get sad about. but
Oh, but
but
I, yeah.
you know I don't know. I guess he had to do what he had to do, JJ. I mean, to pull everything back together, and we've already said what we've had to say about that movie, but um, I think unless there's anything else you want to talk about with this, if you want to talk about what we would have done, maybe we should split it for another video.
Man, you read my mind, buddy. I think, cause yeah, I think, um, I want to, I feel like we both have some pretty crazy ideas of what we would have done. I think taking some time to, like, I want to get some notes out or laid out and kind of, make sure I have points ready to talk about and discuss with you. Um, yeah, man, I'm down splitting it.
All right.
Because I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say about Mr. Trevorrow's script here. Um, I'll tell you this: reading about all this was more interesting to me than Rise of Skywalker as a whole.
I agree with you.
Um, Again, just on the fact that this doesn't read like it reads like a movie, like a fanfic. As much fun as I had with Rise of Skywalker, it was so fan fictiony. It's like, how do we answer all these questions? How do we, you know, I've said all I need to say about it. But you know what I mean? Like it's
No, I
actually
agree.
like it actually feels like it was thoughtfully laid out and done.
I
As
agree.
opposed, which I can't say the same for Rise of Skywalker. So, um, again, translation from script to the movie, who knows? It could have maybe have been shit after all, in the hands of I don't know, the the crew and makers of this film, but these ideas are here, man. Like it's solid. It's a solid foundation. I think it just needs to kind of be um, tweaked a little bit, especially after Carrie Fisher's passing. I think they could have had something really special.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if you I don't know if you can see on my stream right now, but there's a really interesting concept art.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is it? I'm probably a little behind of where you are because of just the stream lag, but right now I'm looking at like the throne
Yeah.
looking thing.
Yeah, with Kylo and the Knights Ren.
Yeah, dude, what the hell? Is that from Trevorrow's script? I don't think I've seen that yet.
I haven't seen this. I'm not sure, but that's
Mm.
that's kind of an awesome thing to have. It's like, oh yeah, he's like we're seeing him both as the fighter and the guy that he was doing his own thing, but we're also seeing him as like the actual leader.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been cool in the beginning of the movie, like him just doing like this,
Ooh, now I'm yawning. Yeah, I know. Well, kind of going off of that, I know there was a piece of concept art of Rise of Skywalker of him interrogating Chewie,
Yes,
um,
yes.
which man, I would have loved a scene like that,
Yeah.
because those two characters clearly have got to have some kind of history
Yeah.
behind them, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but they never interact aside from Chewie shooting Kylo
Yeah.
right in the chest there. But yeah, they should have had a one-on-one, dude. I think that would have elevated Rise of Skywalker quite.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot they could have done that they should have done.
Uh, man,
But
yeah, it just stinks. Just smells to high heavens.
I know. There's a funny thing. It looks like leaked concept art of the Oracle and stuff, and it's kind of funny how I think that was like mentioned with Duel of the
Oh, the
Fates.
Oracle. That's right. I remember hearing about that.
It's like Tor. It looks like it would be Tor Valon. It looks like
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know, man.
it looks like
Damn.
I think the idea was consistent between both stories. Because the Oracle was
Ma-
mentioned for Rise of Skywalker, right?
Yeah, in like the leaks it was, yeah. Back in the day, right? There was
Yeah.
whispers in the taverns about an oracle
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
beginning of the film, but that seems to have been cut in the final one. But
Yeah.
damn dude, I don't know. Well, I tell you what, I know this was we've talked it's been a lot of had a lot of sadness talking about this stuff, but I think next time will be a very exciting chat. I think we both have some stuff we're real excited to talk about. You know,
Yeah, yeah. We'll really we'll get through the discussions of what we would have done. I guess from well, I guess we kind of both did little bits and pieces here or there with this story in mind. So
yeah,
I,
little
th-
sneak peek.
I
Little
think
sneak
I think that's also a safe way to say if we had done this story, this is how we would have done it. I know for me, um, a lot of the main beats of this movie I would have done
peek.
with with even like well, once I heard the leaks of the Oracle, I was like, yo, that's kind of interesting. I like that, um but mostly just like like I said already. And even but the ending, I don't know if I would have had on Mortis. I really don't know what I would have done, but I just know that the overall thing would have been, and like I said, Snoke was Plagueis, and then like maybe they had to team up, or just not ran with that at all, and then just had her need to do exactly like Colin has, like have her need to defeat Kylo. But
Mm.
so a lot of it, it's weird. Like I don't want to say that I don't have anything to say from that perspective, but I kind of don't. I feel like what I would have done ties back to the beginning of this whole thing, or would branch off from The Force Awakens more.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm getting off, not off subject, but I'm getting off topic with
Yeah.
with
No, you're good,
my,
dude.
my focus of what I'm trying to say with it. But
No, you're fine, dog.
you know,
Don't worry. We'll come back to this and um be ready for a killer in-depth discussion about what we'd have done, dog.
yeah, I'm fried trying to think about this damn shit. But
I'm
also,
with you.
next time I promise that I will restart my router and make sure all my connections are good first. I think
Oh, that's good, buddy. I haven't really had any trouble.
yeah.
I'm sorry you've had trouble hearing me though.
No, you've been fine. It's just a little bit of lag once in a while. I don't know if it's on the stream, but um, it's one of those things where it only happens once in a while, and when it does happen, it's like sometimes relentless, and then it's like
I got you.
it's been good for like the last 10 minutes or so. I don't know, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, man. Thanks for chatting with me,
Oh
and
yeah, dog. I always enjoy it. I'm sorry I'm not always able to do it because of random bullshit, but
you're good. I
I sure
understand.
do. I sure do love hopping on and talking this stuff with you,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
matter how sleepy we get.
Yeah, and we'll step away from all the structures of having to follow someone else's structure, and we can try to talk about it. But
Man, I look forward to it. I'm sick of being beholden to JJ and Ryan and Colin. It's like, get the fuck out of here, y'all. Y'all, you didn't do it
no,
justice. Now step aside. Let the big boys handle it. This is our time.
we'll we'll I'll end the stream here, and we'll discuss when to do it. But yeah,
All right, dog.
let me
All
see.
right.